Hi, I'm Bart Hanson, the owner and operator of CrushLivePoker.com. The following hand comes from our call-in show that we record at 4:45 p.m. Pacific Time every Monday. If you want to call in your hand, check out the phone number in the description. So 1-2 no
Yep.
limit. Go ahead. Yeah.
Limped pot, 7 limpers. I'm in the small blind with 4-3 of clubs.
All right. So 7 people limp in. Where is this played out of?
It's just a local card house in San Antonio.
Okay. So 7 people limp in,
Yep.
and you just complete hero with 4-3 of clubs in the small blind. Now, I will say, Chris, like I said, I love limp pot. So even though this is 1-2, this one might be fun, and it's almost similar to a bomb pot, right? Do you know what a bomb pot is?
Yeah.
So you complete.
Yep. The 2 villains in the hand are both old OMCs, old man coffees. Whenever they're betting, they have it. And I've found that out through bad experiences in the past, so I know this is to be true. Anyway, the flop comes all clubs, Queen Jack 10.
Okay.
So there should be $14 in the pot.
Yep.
Pretty sure the big blind called too, or just limp. So I bet $11 into about 14. V1.
Hold on 1 second, Ace. How much money do you guys have, by the way?
Oh, good question. The first villain has $100. I have 263, and the other villain has me covered.
100, 263, and then covers. Because
Yep.
I know it's 7 ways, but I might just go for a check raise small here with a flush on Queen Jack 10, all clubs, because I feel like even if somebody just has top pay, this is going to connect with a lot of people. And
Right.
first of all, I'm never folding a flush at 1-2 in a limp pot. No, you're only $263 deep. So the question now here is what's the best way to extrapolate money? And I would say on Queen Jack 10 on this texture, someone's going to bet because they're either going to have 2 pair, a straight, or they're going to bet a queen for protection, or someone's going to bet the ace of clubs. It's just going to be very rare that this one's going to get checked through. So if it's not going to get checked through and you're in the small blind, I'd rather have somebody else bet and then you just make a check raise to get more money in the pot. So this is different than if the board came out.
Such a small flush. I mean, normally I would 100% agree, but with such a small flush, I was a little hesitant to see another club on the turn.
Well, yeah, but you're betting though, right? So you think you
Yeah,
have the best
exactly.
hand, right?
Yeah.
So why not try to get try not to play the hand for maximum value? Why not try to play the hand for maximum value?
I don't know. My feeling was if somebody had the ace of clubs or the king of clubs, this table was weird. Like a lot of the tables I play with, they're real aggressive, bunch of maniacs. But this one, it was early in the day, and it was a bunch of old men, like real tight, real passive for the most part. And if they have the ace of clubs or the king of clubs, they might just check. So it's a weird game.
Well, I mean, so you're saying that you're betting because you don't necessarily agree with me that you're saying that it might get checked through is what you're saying.
Exactly.
So you want to bet to
Yeah.
get value. Okay, I mean
Right.
that's a legitimate reason. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I thought you were saying, oh, my hand's not strong enough to check raise, but it's strong enough to bet. But I see your point now. Okay, so you bet 11.
Right.
Yeah.
V1 in the middle position calls.
Okay.
V2 in the low jack. Yeah. He raises to 40.
Okay.
I call. And V1 calls.
So what's the deal with V2? Is he an old man coffee type?
Yeah. I've lost, to him in the past, and he always has at least a full house, or he's always very, very strong when he's putting in money in the pot.
I could fold the flop. As crazy as that sounds, I've made a fold like this on the flop before. If you're telling me that this guy would not raise with a straight here, he wouldn't raise with 2 pair. He's an OMC. And again, it's a 7-way pot. Now people can be like, "Oh my God, Bart, like that's so crazy." But when you look at this, right, it's a 7-way pot, and it's Queen Jack 10, all clubs. So
Right.
guys like that are going to be very, very hesitant to put in money on a monotone board in a limped pot against a small blind who's leading out unless they feel like they have a strong hand. So
Right.
do you think that this guy would raise with 8, 9 of hearts here on the flop? I mean, picture this, right? You lead for 11, a guy in between calls, and let's say he has 8, 9 of hearts. Do you think he would raise the flop?
Before this hand, I didn't. But
Um,
now I think he might actually.
well, I mean, I'm just trying to get. I mean, there are certain players that I could even fold the flop. Obviously, that's non-standard, and I don't have a problem with you calling. So Kiro calls and V1 calls. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So the turn brings a 9 of diamonds.
Okay.
This street is where I feel where I messed up more than any. I checked it. V1 shoves $58.
Mm-hmm.
V2 calls
$51.
58.
Okay, so V1 all in, 58, and then the
V2 just calls,
V2
and at this
calls.
point, I'm in my mind, I'm done. I know in my head I've lost, so I fold at that point
Well,
against these two guys.
are you just saying that you're folding because they're continuing to bet? Because the 9 doesn't obviously change anything, right?
Right, exactly.
I mean, the
But
problem.
it took me an extra street to get to where you were on the flop, I guess.
Well, here's the thing with this hand, but here's the
I'm getting 5-1 almost.
yeah,
But,
here's the issue though. I mean, the turn is somewhat problematic for you if you're trying to play this kind of game of, my hand's not going to change, but I'm going to either continue or fold based upon what my opponents do. I feel like now that the turn comes, guys will put money in with the king of clubs here. The king of clubs is, obviously a straight flush draw with a straight.
Yep.
So that becomes a powerhouse hand for these guys that they're not going to fold. I mean, like you said, the pot was 120, 150. It's 270, 58 for you to call. And then you're going to have what, like 100 and if you call, you're going to have like 140 left in your stack, 150 left, something like that. Is that right?
Yeah, 160. Yeah, something like
So
somewhere around there. Yep.
if you call here getting 5-1, the pot will be like 300. And you'll have 150 left. I would call here and then hope that it goes check check on the river. If I
Okay.
if I played it the way that you did, where I called the raise on the flop, and now the guy who was short didn't put it in, right? He just called. I mean, let's back this up, right? So you have a guy that bets the flop, or excuse me, you bet the flop. It goes call. Guy on the button raises. You call, and now this guy calls. So the initial caller who's short doesn't put it in on the flop. Now the turn's a break in the sense that it's not another club. You check. Now this guy moves in. Remember, I just feel like he would just move in on the flop a lot if he had flopped a higher flush, the short stack, quite a bit. So he kind of pulls a stop and go, and now he moves all in on the turn. We just said that there's a one-liner out there to a king and to an 8, and now the button calls. And again, I feel like the button or whoever V2 is, if he flopped the flush, he might feel like he needs some protection, and he would probably jam, so quite a bit. I'd call the turn as played. You're getting 5-1. A lot of times it can go check, check. You folded. What happened?
River break like a red deuce.
Mm-hmm.
Villain one had jack of diamonds, 9 of clubs. So he turned 2 pair with a straight flush draw. And V2 had ace king of diamonds.
By the way, the reason why I didn't want to say ace king on that flop example is because I would have thought that would have been raised pre-flop.
Exactly.
So I was trying to think of some straights. But yeah, I don't think you can fold on the turn given turn pot odds. And what would have happened is that if you had called, it would have gone check check on the river. So I mean,
think?
like when you look on the turn, when you look at the turn, when you look at like what we call turn pot odds, the question here for you is that if you're getting 5-1 in pot odds, which you were, are you going to have the best hand here 1 out of 6
1 out of
times
6. Right.
where it goes check check at the end, combined with somebody's equity to maybe beat your hand with 1 card to come, like a higher club? And I think the answer is yes. So
Okay.
I might have folded the flop, but if I called the flop, I would have called the turn.
Okay.
All right, man. Thanks for
Fair
the
enough.
call. Hey guys, if you like what you've seen here, please click on the subscribe button and you'll get notified every time we put up a new video. And if you want to check out crushlivepoker.com for the first month free, use the code YTA100. Click on the link right there.